new survey has revealed that millions of us keep quiet when we're in pain, with more than a third of people suffering in silence because they're worried they might annoy people by moaning or that no one will care. Janet, you're not normally one for keeping
Why
quiet.
have you come through, Janet?
There's sort of two reasons. One, you're quite vocal about...
Now you're struggling
Yeah.
to get your second reason, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like,
No, the second
you just
reason
wanted
is...
a cheap laugh.
No, the
Go on,
second
be
one was
honest.
I thought you might not necessarily care if anybody... So that was the two things.
Andrew,
you're
you're in the
vocal
hole.
and
You
people...
haven't done Don't worry about it. I started my career in television at a time when women, if they were sick, didn't discuss any illnesses that were serious at all. So one of my great friends was this head of drama for ITV, Verity Lambert, and she had cancer and she just worked on through it. She took some time off. And I think back then in the 70s, if women were sick, you generally didn't tell people and you kept, you were terrified of not being able to go back to work at the same level. I think that women do tend to say less about pain for all sorts of reasons. And I get up in the morning and I am stiff and I do moan then, and I come in here and I have a bit of a creaky moan. But as the day goes on, I become slightly sunnier.
You warm up in every way.
I warm up in every way. But I remember when I first went to live in Yorkshire, I used to travel on the bus from Harrogate to where my house was. And all these women would get on the bus and they'd have... The whole conversation on the 24 bus was about illnesses, but they referred to them in code. So they talked about waterworks. I mean, when they were all talking about their husband's waterworks, you didn't know if they had prostate cancer or whatever. And the women's waterworks were obviously everything down in that department. But now people are feel they can discuss their illnesses more openly, which is good. But on the other hand, do people think you're... a hypochondriac?
Yeah.
I do sometimes think that people... I do have the fear of people thinking I'm annoying,
It's not because you talk about illness.
Well, no, but I am somebody that is guilty of suffering in silence with certain things. Obviously, with my cancer and everything, I was happy to talk about that. But one of the side effects of that, which I do keep to myself, is I have peripheral neuropathy in my fingers and my toes. Which
what is that?
Basically, it's pins and needles, constant pins and needles. And that's what happens. So you might see me and I'm doing that, but that's because I'm trying to stop.
So it feels like tingling all the time?
It's tingling all the time. But my toes, especially if I'm just walking on just normal ground, they feel like ice blocks, they're frozen.
Oh, Brenda.
And it's painful, but I don't say anything. But because people say, are you OK? And I was like, yeah, I'm great. Because they know about the cancer stuff, I don't want to then say, well, yeah, but I'm not. And so I do have a fear of just sitting there and I'll just,
Do you do it because you don't want to make a fuss, or is it because you don't want then a long, drawn-out conversation, or you don't want sympathy, or you don't want people to think of you as anything other than a strong, strident woman? You don't want to be seen as ill?
I just don't want people to say, oh, here she goes again, she's annoying me. Can she just, So that's the side that I don't say, but I've said it now, but I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, this whole aspect. I do think that women cope with pain better than men, in the main. Having said that, this whole man flu thing, girls will say, oh, God, man flu again, But my husband's the exact opposite. And I think that's something to do with he wants to be seen as strong. So don't tell anybody I'm not feeling very well. So he's the complete opposite, which I find sort of rather charming in its own way, because I've heard a lot of men...
But it's annoying if there's something really wrong with him and he won't own up.
Well, no, he will do to me, of course. But, I mean, but if we're going out for dinner or something, say, don't tell him I'm not feeling very well. But when I go back to Karen, you were talking about dealing with your cancer. I think sometimes people don't want to be defined by something. Yeah. And these are Karen's words now, not mine, but she struggled for 7 years in secret. Very, very, very few people know. Of course, the family knew. But she wanted to deal with it in private, didn't want anybody to know that she had cancer, because, her words again, she didn't want to be seen as a victim saying, well, how are you and how are you feeling and that kind of thing. And so really, it was quite tough on the family because you were hiding, you were keeping that secret. But I always said, if anybody finds out, it'll never be from me, because that's the way she wanted it. And I do believe that whatever way you want to deal with illness, whatever it is, that it's the person's prerogative to deal with it in whatever way they want to, So we always respected that.
But I suppose the sad part about not speaking up, and as someone who I always hold things in and keep them to myself, deal with it, and then talk about it after it's done. That's just how I am, whether, you know, it's physical health, mental health, whatever. But it means then if you don't speak out, like Karen didn't, you don't get the support. Yes, you might not get the, oh dear, you know, are you all right? But you also don't get the support. But I totally agree with you, Gloria. It's
but then you
however
see,
want to
times
deal
have
with it.
moved on. Because look at Rod Stewart yesterday, and every newspaper talking about beating prostate cancer. And that was a very positive message that he put out, because men's cancers are so much more easily dealt with these days. So I like it when people speak out, because I think that reminds, in this case, men to go and have check for prostate,
my
etc.
ex-husband had prostate cancer and he spoke out about it. But I think he also wanted to move on. He made his statement. He told everybody that he had it, and, you know, it was reported in the media. But I think that men do want to get on with their lives and get on with their careers.
Yes.
And I think just as much as women, they don't want to be defined by an illness.
Yeah.
I always remember Jennifer Saunders saying that when she was diagnosed with cancer, she said, I hate that word battle. You know, I'm not battling it. You know, it happened, I've got over it, and I've moved on.
Yeah.
Good.